yeah, I should win just because you had the Timberwolves in the 8th seed.
Vasilevsky's been playing really well, and the Lightning have a great offense.
Yeah, it was a tremendous shot, and I've come to expect it from LeBron. I would say I wish the best for the Red Sox, but as a Yankees fan, that's really hard for me to do.
The biggest addition to me is Jalen Brunson.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Why'd you have to name him? Like, seriously? Like, thanks, man.
Who would have thought 5 years ago that the Clippers and Nets would be facing in the finals?
How is Joe Burrow going to get the ball to them if his butt is already on the ground?
Crazy. And for the fans at home,
Hello, I'm Cy Mendenhall, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our Sports Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the man that is nearing. We are nearing the end of this year, and that means some people are sad. I would also think some people are happy. It's a new year for New Year's resolutions, but I am Kevin, and I am joined by the man, Austin.
Yeah, when you guys hear this, it will be 2025, so we are looking still a little bit at current because we're recording this in 2024, but when you hear this, you'll be looking back at all these teams that are, or teams, I also have players, that are happy that this season, or not this season, this year is over.
Yeah, and for me, I have a lot of NFL players because I'm trying to think of baseball like you're just starting to get through it, and basketball, like I don't have the Wizards on here because you're still going through that season, so I'm not sure how you can be happy. You're just like, okay, I got this part done. So I have a lot of NFL because it really is almost the end of the NFL year, regular season for the teams that aren't doing well. But I do have players, and I'll just go into my 5. I have Luka Doncic as he's happy for 2024 to end because he's always someone that has a slow start. He also lost the finals, heavily injured. So to me, I think he's happy to get to 2025 where he'll start to have a resurgence, and then there, of course, will be MVP talk with his performance because that always seems to be a thing. He kind of struggles at the beginning of the year, and this year especially, he's been injured. So I do think he's happy to get forward to 2025 and look forward toward the playoffs in the NBA.
That's someone I considered. I consider that either the Mavericks or Luka. I did not end up having it, though. Your first finals appearance, I think, is something that you should be proud of, and I don't think he'd want to completely forget about 2024, but I can see him being a little bit happy that it's over. My number 5 is the Pittsburgh Penguins. If you remember last year, but in 2023, they made the trade for Erik Karlsson and all these other deals, and then in 2024, at the end of the hockey season, they barely missed the playoffs, and then they start this year off kind of in the same stretch where they're close to getting into the playoffs, but they're not in it. They need to prove in 2025 that they can still contend for a playoff spot, because I think if they get there, they're going to have a lot of guys that could get them far if possible, but you got to get to the playoffs first. And I think it's a team let's put this past calendar year behind us and let's become a new team in 2025.
All right, who's your 4?
My 4 is Joel Embiid. Embiid's dealt with a lot of injuries over last season and this season. Obviously lost in the playoffs last year. And I think if you're Embiid, you're happy this year is over. Even though he's still going to deal with some time missed in 2025, maybe the hope is that you can turn it around. The 76ers have turned it around a little bit recently. If you're looking at the standings, they are currently 12th. They're a game and a half out of the play-in, so close enough to where you're still contending for a playoff spot. And if you can turn around in 2025, maybe you could climb those seasons higher, because the East really does it's struggling right now, just overall. So I think that the Joel Embiid is someone that's happy that 2024 is over.
Yeah, that's a good one as well. My number 4 is Mike Vrabel. I think he's with the Browns and he's kind of looking for jobs, and I think he's happy 2024 is over because now he's going to start hearing jobs soon, especially in 2025. So he's just happy he can get to coaching, and he's going to have a lot of options open from college and NFL. So he's my number 4.
Who's your 3?
Did you already go over your 4?
Yeah, my 4 is Joel Embiid.
Okay, Joel Embiid. Okay. So my number 3 is Darvin Ham. Continuing the coaching, Darvin Ham got fired from the Lakers during 2024. He did join the Bucks, but I think he's excited to be a part of the Bucks, be back where he is. And of course, they're doing well, but I think he's really excited to get through it and just be on the Bucks and help them for a team that he helped with success before he was hired by the Lakers.
Okay. My number 3 is the Cowboys. Not only in 2024 do they lose to the Packers in a 2-7 game, all the injuries that have happened this season, the struggles, what's going to happen with Mike McCarthy, what's going to happen with the team in the offseason. You pay Dak all that money. I think it's a year to forget for Cowboys and their fans.
Yeah, I think that's a great one as well. And yeah, we'll see what 2025 brings, but that is definitely Cowboys at 3 is fair. What about your number 2?
My number 2 is Joe Burrow. And I think it's more because he knows that last year, misses with injury, they missed the playoffs. This year, he's playing his best. And he's just like, if you hear him in interviews, he's just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We got to get into the playoffs for this to matter at all. And while they still do have a chance, if they're going to do it, it'll be done in 2025. Or they'll actually get a playoff spot. Obviously, they play in 2024 still, the Broncos. And as we're recording this, we don't necessarily know what happens with their season. But it's going to be a year to forget for 2024 no matter what. And if they do get into the playoffs the last week in 2025, I think it'll be more like it's a new year. We can now move like it is instead of looking back at this past year with a little bit of dismay.
Yeah, that's a good one. I also went quarterback as well, and number 1 overall pick recently, Caleb Williams. I think he's excited to just get done with his first year. The Bears have not done well. They started off hot, but then have not done well. So I think he's excited for a new coaching staff and just new year under his belt and kind of review and get prepared for 2025.
Who is your 1?
My 1 is the San Francisco 49ers. They lost the Super Bowl in 2024 in heartbreaking fashion with in overtime. Then they have this season where everyone gets injured and they're not doing so well. They're already eliminated from the playoffs, and it's just like, what else can they do? So I think they're excited to get back to 2025, get some players back, draft with a higher pick, and they're a team that when they did bad, they immediately got back to the Super Bowl and got back to the playoffs. So they are my number 1. Just kind of, you went from just losing the Super Bowl in heartbreaking fashion and then not being able to return to the playoffs.
I had the 49ers as well. I think this is probably the most. It was pretty clear. You lose in heartbreaking fashion where you don't really understand the overtime rules, and you have what happened in overtime and before that. And then you have whatever this travesty of a season's been with injuries, losing games you maybe should have won, and just dismay. Just dismay. I think it was a pretty easy 1 pick. I'm glad we agreed on it because they are very happy that 2024 is over.
Yeah, so let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening, and be on the lookout. And let us know if there's someone else you think is happy 2024 is over. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.